Hi, and welcome to an introduction to our Mutual Fund Administration module for enVisual, enNAV. Access to the enNAV module within enVisual is via the enNAV tab at the top of the screen. I tap the tab and I see I have a funds browser, a browser for my holders, a browser for open structures and closed structures, as well as a browser to explain to me if I actually have the funds set up as a protected cell company. We also have access to a funds transaction tab to show our transaction listings. Funds themselves are stored in the system as CRM entities, in which case I can see the name of the entity itself, the actual corporate or trust entity that's been set up as the fund. I have a list of the fund types. On the left hand side I can see whether or not their accounting ledgers have been set up for the fund, which is an optional side of the system. You don't have to do accounting, you can purely do administration if you need to. As I move across the grid view, I can see also the address details behind the fund structure itself. To actually go further, I can use my right mouse button to have a drill down on these entities here. And when I first look at the menu structure behind a fund, you can see there's two halves, or I've got actually access to two menus there. On the left hand side, they are more CRM based menu options, which we'll take a look at in a moment. And the right hand side, I can see I've got immediate access to the holders, the fund holders behind the fund that I've selected there. Looking at the CRM menu for the fund that's been selected there, you can see I can access accounting details if they are present. I can attach or look at documents that have been attached to the fund. Any communications in my communications log. These are all very powerful CRM functions that I've got available to me here because I'm running an integrated CRM system. If there are accounting details behind the entity, I have immediate access to the attached general ledger. This is basically a summarized screen for all the accounts that are set for the entity itself. By double clicking on any of those lines, I can drill into the transactions that are behind the system, behind the particular account. These are all the fund related transactions. Now these might be transactions that have been entered directly into the nominal ledger via a journal, or they could be coming in from one of the attached ledgers, such as the investment ledger. So you can see some of the transactions there have come in from our investment ledger in relation to that fund. Now from here we can have access to the standard reports that we produce for accounts to do from here. We can also take these transactions and export them quite simply straight out into Excel, where we can analyze them further. And if you are using the accounting modules to do the accounting for the funds, every account can be set up to be flagged as a yes or no as to whether or not the value would be included in the NAV calculations. At each fund level, we tell enVisual how to manage the NAV, either manual, where they're keyed manually, whether or not you're importing a series of NAV valuations from an external source, or whether you want enVisual to calculate the NAV using its accounting ledgers. Within NAV management, we can also access a whole history of previous NAV valuations. Simply select a date and the NAV valuations will be visible. Another way of viewing NAV valuations is to look at the fund menu, and we can see there we can run either fund statements or a NAV performance chart. We can see a historical NAV over time. Let's take a look at some holders information. From our funds menu and on a selected fund, we have a right-click menu to shortcut to our holders browser. By clicking on that, I can quickly see all of my holders for the fund that was selected with dates joined, current levels of commitment. Now each one of those holders is a CRM entity, and again that gives me access to all my CRM functions, including documents, communications, tasks, addresses, all the information I need. I can also very quickly grab holder statements. I can actually produce holder documentation. Very, very powerful is also access to all of my compliance information. So you can see from the holder menu, we have complete access to all holder details from within the CRM system, including all AML relevance and risk ratings, as well as any active alerts. This also gives us complete access to any holder document anomalies that may exist within the system, such as expired passports. From these menus down here, I can drill down, select a particular holder, and I'll produce a holder statement for the selected fund. Now, these statements can be produced in any kind of format, including your own logos and headings. They can be produced as reports or they can be emailed to the holders directly. Fund transactions are easily accessed from within enNAV. Simply select the fund, and from the fund menu select a series, choose a transaction, and then drill down from the actual transaction itself. Transactions themselves also support the production of contract notes. Again, we select a particular transaction and we run a contract note routine. Very straightforward, very simple. And as with all forms that are generated by enVisual, the contract note is completely customizable. There's some of the other forms of transactions supported, including distributions, dividends, and transfers. Capital calls and commitment management are also supported by enNAV. From the calls browser, for a selected fund, we can see the capital call history, view commitments, as well as drill down to see the individual drawdowns behind any one call. enNAV also supports the generation of drawdown confirmation letters to holders. Again, these documents can be printed or emailed directly out to your holder base. I hope you enjoyed this introduction video. enNAV is constantly being developed, with new features being added in line with customer requirements all the time. If you'd like any more information, please visit us at enSynergy.com. Thanks very much.